The worst deaths caused by social media trends. The video was watched 2.3 million times before the platform removed it. By then, the damage was done. Social media trends have existed since the first platform allowed users to share content with strangers. Most trends are harmless. Some are idiotic. A small number have killed people. The deaths in this video were not accidents in the traditional sense. They were the result of ordinary people, most of them young, performing specific acts they had seen on a screen, in front of another screen, for the approval of people they had never met. These are the trends that killed them. Timea Landers was an 8-year-old girl from Detroit, Michigan. In August of 2015, she and an older child watched videos of the fire challenge circulating on Facebook and Instagram. The trend required participants to pour flammable liquid onto their bodies and set themselves alight for a brief moment before extinguishing the flames. Thousands of videos existed online demonstrating the challenge. The videos showed people surviving. They did not show what happened when they did not. Timea poured rubbing alcohol across her chest and stomach and ignited it. The fire did not behave the way it had in the videos. It spread immediately across her upper body before anyone in the room could respond. She sustained second and third-degree burns across 49% of her body. She was transported to the burn unit at Children's Hospital of Michigan, where she spent weeks in critical condition, undergoing multiple surgeries and skin graft procedures. She survived, but her injuries were permanent. She was 8 years old. The videos that inspired the act remained on the platforms for months after her injuries were reported. A 15-year-old boy from New York named Jackson was not as fortunate. He attempted the same challenge in his bathroom in 2014. He sustained severe burns across his face, neck, and arms. He survived, but required reconstructive surgery across multiple procedures spanning 2 years. The fire challenge was documented in connection with at least 14 serious injury cases between 2012 and 2015. 2 participants died from their burns. Platforms were slow to remove the content. The videos continued accumulating views while victims were in burn units. Nyla Anderson was a 10-year-old girl from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. On December 7, 2021, she attempted the blackout challenge, a trend that had been aggressively promoted by TikTok's algorithm to users as young as 9 years old. The challenge required participants to choke themselves until they lost consciousness and then film the recovery. The physiological premise of the challenge was that cutting off blood flow to the brain produces a brief euphoric sensation before unconsciousness. The challenge had no safe version. Every attempt carried the risk of death. Nyla was found unresponsive in her bedroom. She was transported to St. Christopher's Hospital for Children in Philadelphia, where she was placed on life support. She died 2 days later, on December 9, 2021. She was 10 years old. Leilani Erica Walton was 9 years old. She lived in Texas. She attempted the same challenge on July 26, 2021, and was found by her family unresponsive in her bedroom. She died the same day. Ariane Jailene Arroyo was 9 years old. She lived in Wisconsin. She attempted the challenge on February 26, 2021. She was found by her father. She did not survive. 3 children, all under 10, all killed by the same challenge, all reached through TikTok's recommendation algorithm. TikTok's own internal data, later revealed during litigation, showed that the platform's algorithm had pushed blackout challenge content to minors repeatedly. Despite internal flagging by safety teams, the algorithm did not distinguish between content that entertained and content that killed. It optimized for engagement. The blackout challenge generated engagement. A lawsuit filed by the families of Nyla Anderson and Leilani Walton against TikTok alleged that the platform's algorithm had directly recommended the challenge videos to both girls in the days before their deaths. TikTok denied the claims. Both girls were dead at 10 years old and 9 years old, respectively. The Skull Breaker challenge required 3 participants. 2 stood on either side of a third person. All 3 jumped simultaneously. As the person in the center was airborne, the 2 on the outside kicked their legs out from beneath them. The person in the center fell and struck the back of their head on the ground with no ability to brace for impact. The challenge originated on TikTok in early 2020 and spread to school playgrounds across the United States, Spain, and Latin America within weeks. It was frequently performed on unsuspecting victims who believed they were participating in a simple jumping game. A 16-year-old girl in New Jersey was the victim of the challenge performed by two classmates in her school hallway. She struck the back of her head on the floor and sustained a serious concussion and spinal injury. She was hospitalized for several days. In Spain, a 14-year-old boy was taken to hospital after classmates performed the challenge on him. He sustained a severe head injury and required emergency treatment. In Venezuela, a teenager performing the challenge struck the back of his skull on concrete and died from the resulting brain injury. He was 16 years old. Documented injuries from the Skull Breaker challenge across multiple countries numbered in the hundreds within a 6-week window. The challenge required no equipment, no preparation, and no warning to the victim. It could be performed anywhere. TikTok began removing videos only after media coverage forced a response. The Benadryl challenge circulated on TikTok in the summer of 2020. It instructed participants to consume large quantities of diphenhydramine, the active antihistamine ingredient in Benadryl, to induce hallucinations and film the experience. A standard adult dose of diphenhydramine is 25 to 50 milligrams. The challenge encouraged consumption of 12 to 14 tablets simultaneously, delivering between 300 and 700 milligrams into the bloodstream at once. At those doses, diphenhydramine does not produce recreational hallucinations in most users. It produces cardiac arrhythmia, seizures, and death. 3 teenagers in Fort Worth, Texas, were hospitalized in May of 2020 after attempting the challenge. All 3 required emergency treatment for diphenhydramine toxicity. All 3 survived. Jacob Stevens did not. The 13-year-old from Oklahoma City attempted the challenge in August of 2020. He consumed a quantity of Benadryl, consistent with the challenge parameters. He went into cardiac arrest. He was transported to hospital and placed on life support. He died 4 days later. He was 13 years old. The FDA issued a formal warning about the Benadryl challenge in September of 2021, month after Jacob Stevens died. The warning noted that the doses promoted by the challenge could cause serious heart problems, seizures, coma, and death. Johnson & Johnson, the manufacturer of Benadryl, issued a statement urging parents to store diphenhydramine out of reach of children and teenagers. The videos remained on TikTok for weeks after the FDA warning was issued. The outlet challenge required participants to partially insert a phone charger plug into a wall outlet, leaving the prongs partially exposed, and then slide a penny or metal object across the prongs. The result was an electrical arc, sparks, and in some cases fire. The challenge spread on TikTok in January of 2020, primarily among middle school-aged users. A 15-year-old student at Westford Academy in Massachusetts triggered a fire in a school bathroom after attempting the challenge. The fire caused damage to the bathroom and required evacuation of part of the building. No fatalities occurred at Westford, but the fire marshal noted that the outcome was a matter of timing rather than safety. At least 8 schools across Massachusetts reported outlet fires or electrical damage connected to the challenge within a 2-week period. In January 2020, a teenager in Plymouth, Massachusetts, was hospitalized with electrical burns after the challenge produced a larger arc than expected. He survived. The challenge carried the potential for electrocution and death in every attempt. The electrical arc produced by bridging a live outlet with a metal conductor can deliver sufficient amperage to cause cardiac arrest. No deaths were directly confirmed from the outlet challenge, but electrical engineers consulted by fire marshals across multiple states confirmed that fatalities were a matter of probability rather than impossibility. Between 2012 and 2023, documented deaths directly linked to social media challenges numbered at least 83 globally. The actual number is higher. Many deaths are recorded under their medical cause: cardiac arrest, traumatic brain injury, burns, asphyxiation, without reference to the challenge that caused them. The youngest confirmed victim was 9 years old. The oldest was 30. Every challenge in this video was promoted by an algorithm. No algorithm intended to kill anyone. Algorithms do not have intentions. They have objectives. The objective is engagement. Engagement is measured in views, shares, and time spent on platform. A child choking themselves unconscious generates engagement. A teenager pouring fire across their chest generates engagement. A 13-year-old going into cardiac arrest after swallowing 14 antihistamine tablets, generated engagement until the video was removed. The platforms did not create these trends. The platforms created the conditions in which these trends thrive, spread to millions of users in hours, and reach children whose developing brains are neurologically wired to seek peer approval and replicate behavior they observe in others. That is not an accident. That is a design outcome. If you found this video useful, subscribe for more and leave your suggestions for the next video in the comments.